That was a place we could not see any road, any street lights. I mean, we could not see anything, and we didn't know where we were. Being an admin of a club, it's really tough to manage that that kind of members. I still remember we used to have about 200 plus members, about 260, 250, 260 members. Uh, but the numbers will show up during the event day will be about 20, 25, or max 30. Max we saw were 40 people. So out of 250, 40 will show up, and we being an admin working so hard to ensure that we get enough parking lot, we get permission, we obtain permission from even the Dubai police and authorities. But then when members doesn't show up, when they don't come to the event, it's really, I mean, it's really it doesn't motivate you anyways. So that way you're not very happy when nobody cares about how hard you work, because everyone is working. We understand, even we are working. Apart from our work, we take out time to manage club activities, and then when when they don't show up, when you're like, okay, that's it, I don't want to do it anymore. So yeah, they should, we want everyone to be part of what we are doing, because everyone who joined the club, they joined for a reason. They had this passion, number one, and then they want to come up and look at others, and then get inspired by someone. Because even in my even in UAE Dodge Club, I have, I know a couple of guys who were like, okay, we are inspired by your car or your car. How did you do this? What happens if I do this? So there are questions and answer session when we meet up. So it's like giving your expertise, and maybe if I look at someone else's car and I'm like, oh, I like this. How did you do it? And this is the kind of gossip you really want to do it, and you socialize with others. It's very important. But then if there is, out of 200, if only 30 or 15 are showing up, you're like, what are you doing? Something is going wrong. Yeah. There was one of my friend who just came to pick me up after I just finished my dinner, and there was a friend at my door. He's like, okay, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, I'm just at home. He's like, okay, come out. We went, we had no plans, okay? Especially me, I had no plans. He just called me out. I just went in my slippers, I was not prepared to go anywhere. He drove me to some desert, okay? It was Mleiha somewhere. And he was driving Suzuki Vitara, all right? It's a small car, yet powerful, good for desert. We drove to desert. He did the gauge level, whatever, tire pressure. We went inside there. It was middle of the night. It was 31st December. He's like, let's go, we'll come back. Like, where? He's like, just go, we'll just go for a drive. And then we ended up in a desert. Okay, fine. On our way, we picked one of our friends. So we were three of us. We went in the desert. His tires were worn out. We didn't know, and he was like, everything is cool, let's go. So we went in, couple of dunes, tire burst. Okay, something happened, and there was a big sound, and we're like, shit, something happened. And we came out, tire was gone completely. Okay, you have spare tire, right? He's like, no. You have tools? No. What do you have? Like, just a phone. All right. Uh, there was no network. All right. The place we reached, there was no network at all. 31st night, no network, no spare tire, no tools, and it was cool, middle of desert. We bought a cake to celebrate. It was a small cake on our way to celebrate 31st New Year. We bought a cake, and it was so cold. We picked a couple of plants, we burned them, okay, just to lit fire and get some heat. Car was just It was just settled in the sand. We were like, what to do? We had no choice except waiting whole night until morning, listening to each other's stories. It was boring, but then we had nothing to do, nothing to talk about. We were listening to the stories, talking about here and there, and then we were waiting for someone to rescue us. And we that was a place we could not see any road, any street lights. I mean, we could not see anything, and we didn't know where we were. Phones were not working, network was not there, so we had no choice to wait. We until morning. We saw those tourists, those cars, those Land Cruisers. They were coming from somewhere, so we climbed up the car on the roof, and we were like, someone help us. So luckily they came, and they're like, because they were with the guest, so they called someone else to help us. And there was a couple of jeepers. They were good guys. They helped us out of a desert. With one the tire, we unscrewed the tire. One of them helped us outside, and then somehow it was about 3:30 p.m. We got rid of everything, and then we brought out the car, and then we went back home. That was 1st January, and was a pact. I was so lazy in explaining things, like what have I done to my car. Points, I used to forget a couple of points, major points, especially during there was a judging team when they come and they ask you, okay, what have you done to your car? I'm like, oh, lights, and this and this, anything that I can everyone can see. I used to explain them, but then what extra things I've done, here and there, I used to skip those points. I was like, okay, it's good to make a PDF and list the points and just keep them. And whoever asks, like, say, these are the things that I've done. If you want to see, so here is the list. Well, I am not a track guy. I told you I'm a very safe driver. You like it or not, but I am a safe driver. And if there is a race, on the street, not on the track. Yeah. Message, yes. Be safe. I'll say number one, be safe. Okay, don't go over, and don't because nowadays kids, they're like they want to show it off. So don't do that. Be safe and do whatever you dream of. So for me, I basically, there was as I told you, there was no plan of making a dark night, but it went through a flow. All right. So for me, I did everything that I ever wanted. Maybe people were inspired by what I did, and they make their own theme of the car. I mean, you feel proud once you achieve that level. You feel proud of something that you have done, and you have inspired someone. Alhamdulillah, no complaints. But be safe.